Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Kris Gethin Podcast. We are at an amazing event in London, UK, and it's called the Health Optimization Summit. This is an event that I spoke at last year. I'm speaking again this year, and it is definitely my favorite event of the year. You have so many biohackers from around the world, so many biohacking enthusiasts from around the world, all come into one area. And I tell you what, the vibration and the positivity here and the influence to learn and to teach is just absolutely amazing. As we are speaking now, there are seminars. I can hear Ben Greenfield talking on the main stage here. There's several seminars going on. There's a phenomenal exhibition. And within that exhibition is a lot of AI. And we have Urlrich, if I pronounced it correctly.
Awesome.
Of Carol AI. Now, this is a bike only on Monday that I was on. I had a crazy session. I did 30 8-second sprints. Mm-hmm. 8-second sprints timed 30. It was soul destroying. But that was including a warm-up, I think, that 8 minutes. But it absolutely destroyed me. And based on the science, that can burn fat for quite a long time following and mobilize your fatty acids. So it's a very, very efficient way of burning fat, especially for those busy individuals or people of, have businesses that have kids. So could you tell me a little bit about your background and what is Carol AI?
Sure. So Carol Bike is the bike that gets you fittest, fastest. It's the bike with the most effective and shortest workouts. So if you want optimal results, maximum results in minimum time, then we are for you. And a bit about my background. I'm not part of the fitness industry, or I haven't been part of the fitness industry. Quite the opposite. I'm a mechanical engineer. I've been building cars and worked in healthcare. We stumbled across the science of REHIIT, reduced exertion, high intensity training.
So that's REHIIT.
REHIIT, exactly. As opposed to HIIT, it's REHIIT, which is HIIT taken to the next level. And we loved it so much that we wanted to do it naturally. Really exciting, good science. But we found there was no consumer-friendly equipment solution available at the time. And like most people, when I say we, my co-founders and I, struggled a bit to find the time for exercise, time for workout. And so decided to develop our own solution for this. And this is now 10 years ago. But the Carol Bike's been on the market now for 5 years and has established itself as, I think the only exercise equipment that lets you do this REHIIT, these shortest, most effective, ultra-personalized workouts. Yeah, and it's fantastic.
That's amazing. So so basically you worked on the science for at least 5 years before actually even releasing the product?
So we worked with scientists. We have a number of the leading researchers that we work with very closely. And what we have done is we've built on their science and built the equipment, so that's the hardware, the software, the AI features, to put it into a package that's really very simple, very safe, suitable for any age and fitness level, and to make it really accessible. So there have been, and there are, scientific exercise bikes that are like $15,000, $20,000, and that need a second person to operate the bike. So the research is much older already. It's literally over the last 15 years, 20 years. So there's a rich body of scientific evidence, and there is scientific equipment, but that's not very convenient to use. Like, who has a lab technician by their side to operate the exercise bike? And we've just taken that away. We've built this fully automated, computer-controlled bike that has basically your AI personal trainer, AI coach, that optimizes the exercise for you, the workout for you, and basically keeps it, as you progress, keeps making it more challenging, and that automates and guides you through the workout to make it really as easy as possible to benefit from this, amazing scientific workout.
Right, okay. I was going to say easy as possible. It was easy to use, but definitely not easy to finish.
Exactly. So very clearly, it's very short.
Yeah.
Like the shortest workouts you can do in 5 minutes with actually just 2 20-second sprints. So our signature workout is just 2 20-second sprints. And I agree with you. So it's hard, yeah?
Yeah, very hard. But efficient.
Exactly. It's very time efficient. And because it's so short, it's actually from a motivational perspective, it's quite easy to just push through.
Yeah.
But it's very easy to execute. It's very simple. Yeah, the machine guides you through it. It tells you when to go all out. It sets the optimal resistance every time. So it's very simple. Of course, it's also hard. Those 2 20-second sprints.
Very, very difficult.
It's not a free lunch. So we're not claiming that at all. But on the other hand, so I do a bunch of different things. And for example, not quite every weekend, but I also like to go running that I do, say, a timed 5K run. I find it's motivationally much, much harder than doing my Carol HIIT workout, because I have to basically push myself for, 20, 22, 23 minutes every single step. I have to keep pushing myself. With the Carol workouts, you have 2 20 seconds where you have to push really hard. But it's almost over before the pain kicks in. And so that makes it quite easy to accomplish and adhere to, and kind of create a habit that really you can stick to.
Yeah, that's interesting you mention that, because after that 20 seconds, that's when you really feel the pain, the lactic acid buildup, the exhaustion, the cardiovascular fatigue.
Exactly.
But you're in your recovery mode when you're actually going through that. Now, this calibrates, I assume, then, to your previous workouts, because when we both myself and my wife did this workout, it only allowed her to do like the 2 20-second sprints, but it allowed me to do the 38-second sprints. I guess because I'd been on the machine more than my wife had.
That's right. So you go through we call them ramp-up rides. So you get to know the machine, and the machine gets to know you. And then it keeps adjusting to keep it personalized and optimized for you. And so we have this like initial adaptation period, exactly.
Yeah, so it's really good for the adaptation of my efficiency, but I guess I'm digging myself into a hole, because if I'm pushing it hard, it's going to push me a little bit harder the next time.
Yeah, exactly. The idea is everybody at some point reaches what their optimal condition is. Like we don't become all Olympians. That's not realistic. But through the AI personalization, you reach that plateau as late as possible and basically get the maximum performance improvement that you can basically attain, and have that plateau as late as possible. Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, we're here in London, and the most famous street here being Oxford Street. Now, from my understanding, this was actually in Harrods. It was demonstrated in Harrods there for quite a while. And what I really liked, and I believe it was on the website at the time, that it showed a lot of people like in business suits, because if you do these 2 20-second sprints, you're not even breaking a sweat. It is very difficult. You are mobilizing fatty acids, but you could literally do it in your lunch break.
That's right. And this was in fact, our original business idea was to create a workout solution that's suitable for the workplace. And it's right. So if you do the workout with 2 20 seconds, most people manage to do that without breaking a sweat. I don't say all people. Some people do break a sweat. There's like some variance, but most people actually manage to do it without breaking a sweat. And that is because the level of exertion is so short that your body doesn't produce enough heat to sweat. So sweating is a response to your body temperature increasing, and then you sweat to cool down again. But with those 2 20-second sprints, the exertion is so limited that most people don't break a sweat. And then people ask, of course, but if you don't even sweat, how can you get fit? And that's just because it's a different adaptation pathway. So what we do is, in those 2 20-second sprints, we force the body to burn muscular glycogen.
Right, deplete that.
Exactly. So that's your emergency energy reserve. If you do a longer exercise, it's basically aerobic calorie burning. With this, you don't. You stay completely in the anaerobic energy system. So you burn in the first 10 seconds, you burn through what's called phosphocreatine.
Yeah.
That's burned through in the first 10 seconds of the sprint. And then in the remainder, you burn anaerobically muscular glycogen.
So it goes from ATP to glycogen depletion.
Exactly. And so because you go instantly from the start of the sprint all out, your energy demand increases by a factor of 100 compared to rest. And your body interprets that as an emergency situation, fight or flight. And it doesn't really know, will this last 20 seconds or 60 seconds or 3 minutes? So it mobilizes loads and loads of glycogen, actually way more than you need. So in those 20-second sprints, you mobilize something like 20 to 30% of your muscular glycogen. So you have a lot of muscular glycogen, and you could do a lot of exercise with that. Yeah. But what we achieve, and we don't burn through all of that, nowhere near close. But what we achieve is we mobilize the glycogen, and then we basically nibble off just the outer branches of this glycogen molecule. And the mobilization is enough for your body to basically tell itself, I need to get fitter and stronger. And that happens because we have, bound to that glycogen is a molecule called AMPK, which is a master regulator for mitochondrial biogenesis. So it's AMPK and then downstream PGC1 alpha, which trigger mitochondrial biogenesis. So it triggers the process of growing larger and more mitochondria. And that is literally just triggered by the mobilization of the glycogen. And that's all we want to achieve. And that's why we can stop after 20 seconds already, because the critical step in sending your body the signal has already happened. And therefore, you wouldn't have to sprint longer, or you wouldn't need more sprints. And it's really those 2 20-second sprints are enough. In fact, and this is where it gets really crazy, if you do more or longer sprints, not only do you see not more benefits, but it appears to be that you see less benefits. It's not quite understood why that is. The assumption is, or like what our scientific partners assume, is that if you do more sprints, people apply like pacing strategies. They know, if I have to do 4 all-out sprints, well, maybe I don't go all out, because otherwise I can't do the 4th sprint anymore. And that's not what we want. We want, don't hold back. 2 20 seconds, all out. And if you do that, you actually get fantastic benefits in really short time.
So we know that it really helps. So obviously, if you're depleting your glycogen levels, your phosphate stores, your ATP stores, then you're going to mobilize fatty acids, I'm assuming, for much longer after the duration of your exercise. Is there any science to show how long that an individual, on average, is continuing to mobilize fatty acids to be utilized as an energy source?
Absolutely. So it's right. So because as we said, most people don't sweat, and that means kind of on the bike, you actually burn few calories. But there's a very substantial afterburn. It's called excess post-exercise oxygen consumption. And we've done that with scientific partners, with Western University, Colorado. So up to 90 to 120 minutes, so up to 2 hours after the ride, you have elevated calorie consumption. And so it's actually 2/3 of the calorie consumption of the carol workouts happen after you're off the bike. So substantial. And then you go back to baseline eventually. But it's like you're for about 2 hours, you have elevated calorie consumption.
Right, okay. And is there like a protocol that people could do this like every day, maybe twice a day or every other day? Is there a suggestion that people should stick to?
Because it's so short, it's hard to overdo it. So when we discuss it with some of the leading researchers, they generally don't say like, oh, don't do it more often than X, Y, and Z. But so I'm not aware that anybody's doing it more than once a day. I do my carol rides 5-6 times a week. Not because I have to, more because it's an easy habit and an easy routine for me. I brush my teeth in the morning, I do a carol ride. It's like one thing. I don't have to think about it. That makes it
Probably
easier
takes you
for
about
me.
the same amount of time as well.
Ish, yeah. The recommendation is to do it 2 to 3 times per week. So you do this, you can do it in as little as 5 minutes, 2 to 3 times per week, and then that's your cardio covered, yeah? Obviously, some people do then also zone 2 training, and that's has also its merits and benefits. Some people do weights. I do some weights, not as much as you. But so like for your cardio workout, 2 to 3 times per week, 5 minutes gives you a really good base.
Okay, because this is what I'm thinking. Like I have a lot of clients, and some of them want to get absolutely shredded, but they don't have time to do both AM and PM cardio because they're like, look, I work out in the morning, I do my cardio. By the time I've finished work, I've got home, I feed the kids, whatever. I don't have time for that second cardio. So maybe there's an opportunity if somebody had the carol bike, they'd be able to do 2 cardios. Maybe one is whatever they're doing, walking a dog. I don't know, it's a steady state form of cardio. But then they switch that up with this re-HIIT version of cardio.
Which definitely kind of just adds something different to the mix.
Yeah, because I have always had a concern if somebody is doing HIIT, let's say they're doing like 20 to 30 minutes, and they're putting some HIIT in there as well, and they're in a calorie deficit, then they could potentially be in a catabolic state because they're doing that duration. Cortisol levels is being spiked again. But with this being such a short and efficient workout of re-HIIT, I don't think there'd be a problem with a cortisol spike or any catabolism setting in.
Yeah. So I can't give you a very fact-based and well-researched answer because I don't use it twice a day, and I'm actually not very aware that others do it. I do know, however, that it is like the overall level of exertion is so short that if you want to do multiple workouts per day, I think it would be more suitable than many other workouts that you could think of. And certainly like a traditional HIIT program, I mean, it works. It gives you good benefits and so on, but it's actually quite strenuous. Yeah, so it's really quite hard. Yeah. So I think it's certainly more suitable than that.
Yeah, because like I'm thinking of some people, if they're in a calorie deficit, their lower body fat levels now, their enthusiasm has declined because their energy resources are lower. Something like this, like you said, you don't really need as much. It's easier to motivate yourself to do a shorter period, especially when you're in a calorie deficit and you're a little bit fatigued. Exactly.
So from time to time, I fast, and I don't know, 2-3 times a year. Not right now.
What, for how long?
Like 5 days. I usually do like this fasting mimicking. I find that's
like a prolong?
Yeah, exactly.
Got it.
Exactly. That's a quite convenient way to get through a 5 day. Actually, I can't say I enjoy it, but it's I can do it, and it feels good, and I feel better, but I wouldn't stop my workouts for that. And certainly this re-HIIT, I would continue to do that every day. In fact, I would do also some weight training still during that. Yeah,
because going back to that, well, if you look at Dr. Voltalongo's research on the fasting mimicking, of course it can signal AMPK. You can really dig into autophagy as well. I can only assume because this is signaling AMPK as well, it would actually help you get into autophagy a little quicker.
I tend to think so as well, yes. But I don't have like a research study to point to that.
Well,
but my logic would also be that you, because you get this glycogen depletion, that it actually supports the effect of fasting and helps you get into
for sure.
into
For
a
sure.
fasted
I can only
state,
imagine so because
faster.
yeah, because if you think of people when they're on a ketogenic diet, if they're in keto, they can get into people that are usually active can get into ketosis a lot quicker, especially if they do like a keto cycling. So they do a cyclical form. So they have carbohydrates, let's say, as their last meal. By the time they've woken up and done like the Carol session or whatever, they're pretty much back into ketosis.
Yeah, and so one thing where I believe that to be the case is, we know that HIIT and Carol rides improve insulin sensitivity, and with better insulin sensitivity, it's easier for you to basically access your fat and energy stores that you have. Yeah. So my sense is that these fasting periods are easier for me, and I just feel less hungry. I don't feel hungry, I would even go so far, because I'm metabolically flexible enough and can actually access like my adipose tissue for energy, so that I'm never starved, because I still have energy reserves, and that the improved insulin sensitivity that you get from doing these workouts actually helps with fasting then also a lot.
Right, interesting. I'm just thinking of a stack that I may do here today, because I know there's ice baths down there. I know there's Biostack Labs that has spermidine, and spermidine is like a fasting mimicking supplement. And obviously the ice bath can help with insulin sensitivity, mobilize fatty acids. And then this session, that sounds like a great stack.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have the ice bath, I do cold showers.
I think they're harder. The cold showers. Yeah, because the thing is, this is like your back is getting cold water, and then you turn around and you get your front, and that's a contrast. And then you get your head, and that's a contrast. It's like you're getting in the ice all over again, and all over again, and all over again. When you're in the ice bath, at least you're done. You're one and done, and then you can just relax there. I find the cold showers a little harder.
That's interesting. So, depends on the time of the year as well.
Yeah.
So now
and the country that you're in
are actually quite pleasant. In January, it's like.
Yeah, I said that in the hotel, and I was like, I'm surprised how warm this is on cold. Yeah, it's the time of the year as well. So if people were to find out about this, like, do you ship worldwide? Are you available in certain countries and not others? Where is it at?
Generally, like, our primary market is the US and Canada. That's where most of our customers are. We're based in the UK, so this is our home market, and we ship generally to most countries. Some countries are a little bit more difficult.
Ever shipped to India?
We have, but that
difficult.
That is actually
very
really
difficult.
In fact, we've just lost the bike in customs there because
it happens. It happens. I wanted to ask because of that very reason.
Yeah. So we have done in the past, and 2 or 3 times successful. The last one disappeared. We couldn't get it through customs.
3 out of 4 is not bad.
I don't know. But most other countries, it's more reliable. So that's an extreme case. Yeah.
Yeah. I just wanted to know out of interest there because what? Were you saying something?
No, I have a question.
Okay, all right. I was just wondering because we've had the same issues when we're shipping supplements to India. But number one, you're getting hit with 100% tax.
Yeah.
And number 2, sometimes it'll get through, sometimes it won't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's exactly our experience that the import taxes were like a really bad surprise, and then it literally just got lost and was disposed after a certain period, and it's like, well, where's the bike?
Yeah, well, it's one of those packers has probably got it in his house. He's getting shredded somewhere. What question did you have, Sunshine?
So I just want to know, how would somebody incorporate the Carol bike workouts if they already have like a training regimen? Like obviously a lot of Kris's audience and clients, they already going to the gym at least 4 to 5 times a week. They already have some sort of cardio, whether they're doing the Stairmaster or going on a walk.
Yeah.
Where would they fit in Carol?
So Different use cases, but we do have many customers who are into exercise. So obviously our main proposition is that you need very little time. So if you're time poor or don't have enough time for exercise, then this is your go-to solution really. But that's by far not all our customers. Like many of our customers are really into exercise and have a whole program. And then what we would suggest is first do the HIIT 2 to 3 times. Like just add it to your program because it adds an additional. It adds something that other cardio workouts don't add through that maximum intensity, and it might help you free up time for your weight or your skill training or your flexibility, mobility. So it's an additional thing. And then if people really want to do a lot of cardio, so the bike is actually one of the most versatile bikes in the market. It can do a lot of things. So you have the ultra short workouts, you have longer workouts, you can do the zone-based training. So many people do like the zone 2 and zone 5, where they also want to spend a substantial amount of time in a lower zone.
So if they're getting ready for an Ironman triathlon or cycling race.
Exactly. So it has that, and it's actually also compatible with pretty much the widest range of third-party apps. So you can, like for the cyclists, they're all like into their Swift and Kinomap and Ruvi, and that all runs perfectly on the bike.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
You can, we're ultra specialized when it comes to HIIT.
Yeah.
Really, we zoom in there to make it maximally efficient and make it very simple to use and so on. So that's kind of our specialization. At the same time, it's one of the most versatile bikes because we're pretty open and let you use, there's an industry standard in how the tablet communicates with the bike that Swift uses, and like some of the other apps, and we use the same industry standard, so you can run all these cycling apps also on it. Where many of our competitors are pretty much closed systems where you can only use the Peloton app.
Of course.
And then if you don't have their subscription, you can't use the bike. I mean, it's still a bike, but you can't use it with many other things.
Yeah.
We said no, we want to be, we have our specialization and we do that better than anybody else. But we're open and versatile and let people use it in how they want to use it,
Yeah, that's phenomenal. And it definitely seems to be the way of the future. A good friend of ours who is the founder of bodybuilding.com, he's now founded Black Box VR, and that is virtual reality with artificial intelligence. And you have like the ARX machines, AI as well. And now with this, it's becoming much more efficient. Well, to answer your question, Sunshine, I could see how a lot of my clients would utilize this product, particularly the ones who cannot do the double cardio per day, where they would, let's say if they are working out in the morning, they'd do their workout and then post-workout they would do this cardio session, or they would do their cardio session at the gym because they're at the gym, and they could do this cardio session in the afternoon or early evening. Or if they're training in the evening, they could do the session in the morning, and when they finish at the gym, they could do their second cardio. But this is not really like doing a second cardio because it's so efficient. Yeah. It's from a physical perspective, it is a cardiovascular exercise,
exactly.
but from a mental perspective, it's pretty much one and done.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So where can they find you? First of all, should they be interested in looking this up, getting a little bit more information, or even purchasing? Where can they do that?
Okay, so the first thing is, please do have a look at our website, carolbike.com. We've got a lot of information on there, so you can learn, and I hope we answer most of your questions. The second thing is we offer what we call fitness consultations. So we've got team members with a MSc in exercise physiology, schedule a consultation with them so they will really be able to answer any questions you have. We're in quite a few gyms and biohacking studios where you could see it and try it. We don't have showrooms. What we've opted to do instead is we offer I think industry-leading 100-day risk-free trial. So when you purchase the bike, we deliver it to you. You can keep it for 100 days, see whether it works for you. If you like it, you keep it. But if you don't like it, you can simply return it, and there's no questions asked.
Wow, that is an industry first. That's
well,
great.
This is a much more efficient way for us than having showrooms in every major cities. We say you try it at home. If you like it, you keep it. If you don't like it, we simply take it back, and we come and pick it up, and you get a full refund.
Wow, that's amazing.
And 100 days is plenty of time to see whether you like it, whether it's comfortable for you, and whether you see the benefits. So most of the scientific research, there's a study 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks. So 100 days definitely gives you enough time to do your N=1 study with a Carol bike, whether it works for you.
Yeah.
So the science that works on average, that's established. Yeah, there's a stack of research studies that prove it. But whether it works for you and it's something you can stick to, you have plenty of time in that 100 days to actually find out.
That's amazing. That's really, really good. Well, I can definitely vouch for the efficiency of this bike. And it's funny because you said, some people would generally pace themselves. I did not do that. When I did the very first sprint, and knowing that I had 29 more, I still went all out, but I had such a lactic acid build up after that first sprint. I was like, I'm going to have to pace myself just to finish this. But it was great. It was really, really awesome. And, the more, and I'll definitely be including this in my protocol because I need to be a little bit more efficient with my workouts, and I'm definitely going to get a little bit more creative now. Especially now Upgrade Labs has just opened, and obviously your bikes are in Upgrade Labs as well.
Yes.
So we'll be getting onto that. But if anything that we've spoken about today, there will be links below in the show notes. If you're watching on YouTube, go below. All the links there and all the information associated with Cal will be there. So thank you ever so much for joining me today. I will let you get back to your booth because I know you're very, very busy, but I appreciate your time.
Perfect.
Thank
Kris,
you.
thank you so much.
Thank you very much.